Well, I'm with Tom Mullarkey, who's Chief Executive of RoSPA. Now, Tom, you're collaborating with Premier Foods on a new safety initiative. Could you explain a little bit about that for me, please?
Well, Premier Foods has been running an excellent safety initiative called TOPS and now TOPS Plus since 2008, which has been a tremendously powerful tool for them to improve safety in their workplace. What's happening now is that they're rolling that out into the community, and we're seeing tremendous results by taking the ideas of safety from within the workplace, within the many different sites in Premier Foods, moving that into the community so that children, families can be engaged in the whole safety process and can learn to keep themselves safe and take responsibility for their own safety.
So a workplace initiative like this, what are the strengths of that help take that out into the home and perhaps on the road as well, I suppose?
Well, I think one of the key characteristics of the TOPS programme is that it requires people to think for themselves, to apply their own natural intelligence to situations which will be infinitely variable, but which, if they're not properly thought through, can easily cause them harm. So by allowing people to see the way in which a tool can be used, of how to understand, how to look, how to perceive where a hazard may lie and then what to do about it, by going through that sort of process and then applying a solution which really works practically, what you're doing is engaging people's natural survival skills, giving them the opportunity to polish up their own capabilities and keep themselves and their families safe.
So what was the primary trigger for this initiative? What spurred this feeling that we needed to take workplace safety initiatives into the home?
Well, there are many very good reasons for it, not least the fact that 80% of all the injuries suffered by the workforce are suffered outside the workplace. So it makes good sense for employees to be safe when they're at home, when they're at leisure, and of course there's a knock-on effect. If children are injured and parents have to stay at home and can't come to work, that has an impact on the employer as well. So it's a very practical reason. But I think we have to go beyond that. When we look at Premier Foods, their approach is very much more about the ethical side and how they can contribute to community development. And I think it's that grain of commitment and enthusiasm to people and individuals and communities that makes this special, and that's why it works so well.
And do you see this perhaps as the beginning of future collaborations with Premier Foods?
Very much so, and what we'd like to do very much in RoSPA is to roll out an idea that we've been talking to Premier Foods about, which is called safe communities. And the idea is that we would pick a community and we would work with them as a major local employer and many of the other partners in the public and private sectors who are in that area, and we would work on a very comprehensive accident prevention program from small children right up to the elderly and all points in between. And by working together and combining our skills and knowledge, and particularly the skills and knowledge that come out of the workplace, and particularly those that come out of the TOPS program, we would be able to drive down the number of people injured and killed in that community very significantly. And if we can do it once, we can replicate it across the whole country.
And therefore not just in the home and workers going to and from work, but also into schools and other organisations, I guess.
Schools, definitely colleges. We want to talk to mums and dads. We want to talk to elderly people who suffer a lot of home injury. They're part of the community too. They're part of the family. The family of workers that work at Premier Foods are impacted by what happens to them, so they should be included in this programme.
Sounds a very exciting programme for you.
Yes, it will be. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we're going to get the funding to make one of these safe communities fly. And if we can, then we will be able to carry out our mission and that of Premier Foods, which is, of course, to provide an excellent service to the public whilst at the same time saving lives and reducing injuries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.